What's up, everyone? What's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. How's it going? Thanks for being here. Be sure to tap the like button on your way in. We are going to be doing a Friday recap. It's been a couple days since I've done any sort of a stream related to the Moscow, Idaho quadruple homicide. And I know that there's a lot going on with it in terms of people that aren't able to speak anymore. We've got some new kind of details emerging around Bryan Kohberger, and we're going to talk about it today, as well as going into the actual cell phone towers in the town. I got to thinking about it a bit more. I don't know much about cell phone towers in general, but I want to look. I have an app on my phone that I actually paid for to be able to look and access cell phone towers. Specifically AT&T, which is what Bryan supposedly had. And we're going to go through the maps here in a little bit and actually try to find some of these towers, maybe learn a little bit more about how cell phone data works when it comes to true crime cases. I think that is going to be something that's crucial when it all is said and done with this case. We know that he was there like 100, I just read 100 because there's 100 people in here. Thanks for being here today. He was in the area of 1122 King Road 12 times between June and November. But what does that mean? Is that significant? Is that just a coincidence? Is it the tower picking him up all the way over in Pullman? Because we know that they have very broad ranges. So we're going to look into that a little bit more. We're going to search for some towers and so on and so forth. But before we get started with anything, I want to say thank you to our sponsors at DataSeal. Before we get started, I just want to mention our partner, DataSeal, whose service happens to align with something I am very passionate about: personal privacy. Have you ever been concerned about your home address, phone number, or other personal information being readily available online for anyone to find? DataSeal has developed an automated data removal solution that deletes your personal information from over 70 people search sites and data brokers. Use the link below in the description or... Thanks again to the sponsors at DataSeal. Obviously, the newest thing as of this morning, or I guess yesterday morning or evening, the new gag order. It's a stricter gag order that's been put in place. Brian Enton tweeting, the Idaho judge over Bryan Kohberger's case has put a stricter gag order in place that now includes attorneys for interested parties in the case. So basically, even the attorneys... like witnesses, anyone potentially involved is now being asked and being instructed to not speak at all. The exact, page says this, says following: evidence regarding the occurrences of transactions involved in the case, B, the character, credibility, reputation, or criminal record of a party, victim, or witness, or the identity of a witness, or the expected testimony of a party, victim, or witness, the performance or results of any examination or test, or the refusal or failure of a person to submit an examination or test, any opinion as to the merits of the case or the claims or the defense of a party, any information a lawyer knows or reasonably should know is likely to be inadmissible as evidence in a trial, and that would, if disclosed, create a substantial risk of prejudicing an impartial trial. No prejudices in the trial. Any information reasonably likely to interfere with a fair trial in this case under the U.S. Idaho Constitution, such as existence or contents of any confession, admission, statement. Basically, they're eliminated anyone that's connected or even remotely connected to this case from talking about it moving forward. However, that doesn't mean we can't talk about it. We are the public. We have the First Amendment. We can continue to talk about the case as much as we so choose. And there are still some people, interestingly enough, talking about the case that are somewhat connected to it. We're going to go through the unsealed search warrant list one more time. I know a lot of you have seen that. But specifically, the Mad Greek restaurant, according to some of the people that work there currently, or some of the reports coming out of there, the current staff, which we know Xana Kernodle and Maddie Mogan had worked there or were servers there at one time. Apparently, the current staff has vowed to not speak about the case to reporters, to anybody calling in, anybody asking about it. But there was another worker that I guess had left there prior to them making this pact, and they had spoke about a prior incident, or not prior incident, but a prior interaction with Bryan. But specifically, this reporter says, just checked in with Mad Greek, the restaurant where Madison Mogan, she misspelled Mogan, and Xana Kernodle works. Staff say they do not recognize the murder suspect or recall serving him. So that kind of contradicts some of the stuff coming out about a prior staff member or a former staff member revealing what was memorable about his order. And I don't think there's anything super memorable about it in general. He just ordered a vegan pizza, supposedly. But I don't think it was a coincidence that he was there. I think we'll talk about that in a moment. I want to say hey to people coming in. I haven't even acknowledged the chat. Jeff, Pack sounds cult-like. I mean, I think they were coming together because, look, Madison and Xana are their prior co-workers, their former co-workers that were brutally killed in this crime. They don't want to say anything that could hinder the case. I don't think it's anything cult-like. I'm sure they just came together. Pact is just the word that I happen to use. Let's see. What's up, Indie Girl? Kathy, hey, how's it going? Lola, good to see you. Phyllis, hello, Aaron, how's it going? Pray all in chat are doing well on this Friday. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you, Phyllis. And yeah, hey to everyone in the chat. Thanks for tapping that like button on the way in, you guys. We are at 225 viewers and 85 likes. So let's get that up to 100 likes. Let YouTube know that you guys are interested in this content, so it will recommend it to some of the other subscribers. I always see people that comment after the stream and say, hey, I didn't get a notification. And a lot of times it is just YouTube only sends a certain amount of notifications out. So it really helps when people tap that like button. So thank you. Joyce in the house, Angela in the house. Thank you guys for being here. Nikki, Darla, Katrina, Beach Gal, Teresa, Bronze Barbie, hello. Holly, Curious Cat, hello. Good to see you. Eileen, great to see you. Tracy in the house. Paul, good to see you. Deb, Mama Swindle, Bubblegum, VC, Sylvia, and Shelly. Good to see you all. I'm obviously going to miss some names. Cheryl, hello. Good to see you coming in here. Happy Friday to you guys. Let's get into it. Obviously, like I said, some of this is going over what we already know. But like I said, I haven't streamed in a few days on this case. So it's kind of like a Friday catch-up stream. One of the things that is interesting about this list, we're going to go through the list. So this is, according to the unsealed search warrant, this is what investigators recovered from Bryan Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington. It's a list of really like not a whole lot based on what people thought that they were going to be pulling out, because there were videos and photos with investigators coming out with boxes of stuff. And they're supposed to list everything that they supposedly took from his apartment. And to me, this doesn't seem like a lot, but I think that there can be some real significant stuff here. So let's go through it. So one, nitrate type black glove. So a nitrate style black glove. That's interesting because it's like, this is like a nitrate style black glove, right? Like a surgical glove almost. At least that's kind of what it looks like. So I have had these. Also, Lola, thank you for becoming a level 1 supporter. Thank you, Lola, and thanks for joining. I used to have these around my house. I used to do dishes in these like kind of rubbery type gloves. And then I would always have maybe some of these around in case I needed to do something with my car and I didn't want to get my hands all nasty or something. But in this guy's case, if they were just like out on his kitchen table or something, or out, they're very common. But if they would just happen to be like out and strung out, like he had taken a bunch of them, like if he was maybe actively cleaning, That would be one thing. Like mine, I don't know if my wife and I have any of these, but if we do, they're probably deep in a drawer because we rarely use them. So that's kind of what I'm getting at there. I don't know if there's any significance because it's not illegal to have those, but they found them. Where it gets interesting is these next two, the Walmart receipt with one Dickies tag. Finding the Walmart receipt, I don't know how hard they had to look for this receipt, but if this receipt happened to be dated, like say early November in the lead up to when the homicides took place, and they were able to see, that he had bought a black pair of Dickies pants. He was supposedly clad in black clothing. So if on this receipt from Walmart, it shows that he's buying all these brand new black clothes, that could be significant because we know the witness that saw him leaving the house saw him apparently in all black. 2 Marshall's receipts, and that may not seem significant from the outside looking in, just, a Marshall's receipt. He went to Marshall's. However, Marshall's is a place where you could likely get, it's like a department store. You could likely get a pair of shoes or even more clothes if he has 2 receipts from there. And if they have this latent footprint, there's a chance that they have something more significant on that Marshall's receipt. What if on that Marshall's receipt, he has a Vans pair of shoes that is listed as one of the items that he bought? That would, that would be significant. Also, do Dickies make ski masks? I think someone said something. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it looks like, whose comment was that? Let me find that. Ski mask. Sally Turner, Dickies makes a ski mask. Sally, yes. Okay, so that's another thing. Can you get these at Walmart? I don't know. Let's look. Let's go to walmart.com real quick. Guys, thanks for being here. I know it's Friday afternoon, and some of you, I didn't know how many people would be able to stop by and join us, but there are 300 people in here almost, and I appreciate it. You guys are awesome for joining. Dickies, work pants. So let me make this a little bit bigger here. So here's some of the pants, right? Like you can get Dickies style pants, dark style Dickies pants at Walmart. Do they have masks at the Walmart? Can you buy a Dickies style ski mask? I don't know about the mask. Socks. 3-day or black basic ski mask. On Walmart's website, I'm not necessarily seeing the Dickies style mask. However, I'm definitely seeing it on the Dickies website. So this is from the Dickies website. If this is what he was wearing, then there's certainly a possibility. Then again, who knows? Maybe he did get it at Walmart and I'm just not seeing it on the list. Okay. So once again, significant because he may have recently purchased the shoes that he might have been wearing or some of the clothing. Dust container from Abyssal Power Force vacuum. Right now, once again, like my vacuum cleaner, let's see this. If you were to break into my house right now, not break in, but if you were to search my stuff, what is this vacuum cleaner? Dirt Devil. Look at this. I haven't emptied this in like 2.5 weeks, and this is pretty intense. So, I mean, there's so many hairs, there's so many things in here that you could pull for evidence, right? Obviously, likely this is just mine and my wife's hairs, but we did a little dog adoption program like a month and a half ago. I bet that dog is somewhere inside my vacuum cleaner. So you can bet that the investigators are going through his in order to see, did he try to, vacuum out his car? You would think, Bryan being a criminology major, criminal student, whatever criminology, your vacuum sucks. Thank you. It does. No, it sucks pretty good. It sucks pretty good. For how much it was like $70 or $80. It sucks great. But Bryan, to not empty that out, a little bit sus to me. You would think he'd be a little smarter than that. So maybe there's going to be some significant stuff found inside that Bissell Power Force vacuum cleaner. And then number 5, I find it interesting, the different ways that they list hair strands. Okay, so number 5 on their list is 8 possible hair strands. So I don't know what they mean. Are they thinking that these possibly are like the same type of hair or possibly from the same person? Because they, of course, down here list one possible hair strand. They have the one possible animal hair strand. Sorry, let me move this over. Another possible hair strand, and then number 10 possible hair strand, 11 possible hair strands. So we have many instances where they're listing hair strands. So I'm very interested to know what that could be. I mean, could there be a hair from the dog on his, did it transfer onto his body and then ultimately off of him in his apartment? Could we have a hair from the dog that was at the house? Possibly. The Fire Stick TV with cord and plug. This is interesting because a Fire Stick anymore, a Fire Stick type device is a lot like a computer, right? You can plug these things into your TV as long as you have an internet connection, as long as you have Wi-Fi. I mean, these things can absolutely be utilized. I mean, you can get web browser access on these. This is what a Fire Stick is. Many TVs have, things like this built into them now where they have wireless capabilities. I know some of you have sent me tweets watching my stream on your big 50-inch TV just through the YouTube app, for example. This is that version of that, but something you just plug into an existing television that maybe doesn't already have Wi-Fi capabilities. What's interesting about this is I feel like a lot of people that use these don't necessarily you can clear certain search history and things like that, but they're going to be able to pull a lot from this, especially if he uses the web browsing features, because there are ways to actually search things and pull it up on your TV. So was he searching for things on this, thinking he was being sneaky, not utilizing his computer, or are they going to go into some of the things that he was watching? I mean, I don't know. At the same time, it's also not illegal to watch true crime content. I mean, he was obviously a student that studied this stuff. So, if 2 months ago he watched the entire Jeffrey Dahmer series, is that going to make him guilty of these crimes? No, but they're going to look into all of that. Frank, thank you for the 5. Just joined. So sorry to go back, but you were talking what Dickies makes. Dickies makes tactical EMT gear too that repel blood and Walmart sells. Oh, Frank. That's an interesting thing. So let me Dickies tactical gear. Interesting. Thanks for that insight. I'm gonna look into that a little bit later because I want to see kind of more of the descriptions on those. But I pinned that in a different tab. So that's an interesting thing too. Imagine if they have receipts for water or blood repelling tactical gear. I mean, they definitely sell those types of things, more, work type pants that are if you work outside a lot, they're going to repel water or, like what Frank says, potentially blood as well. That would be crazy if all of a sudden he's making purchases for gear like that when he really likely probably has no real reason to have something like that. So that's definitely interesting. Thank you, Frank. And John, I keep saying it. Locard's Principle of Exchange in school for cybersecurity, computer forensics, and they teach us this and beat into our head. Okay, let's see. Let's look up that exact principle so we get it right. Thank you for the 5, John. I'm going to go through this. States that with contact between two items, there will be an exchange of microscopic material. Okay, yeah. So this is also, you have DNA transfer in this same kind of conversation as, also the microscopic material. That's super interesting. I don't know if I'd actually heard that exact is it Lacard's principle, Lacard's exchange principle. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, like, just even right now, I go touch, I don't know, what do I have right here? This glasses case, right? Like, I'm not only all over this glasses case all of a sudden, but there are micro materials. There could be a hair that came off of my hand, a loose hair that's not connected to me, that is all of a sudden on the surface of this glasses case that we have no idea is there until you look at it under a microscopic, level of detail. And I'm sure they're utilizing those technologies that they have to be able to pick up that kind of stuff. So that's very interesting. Thank you, John, for saying that. Yeah, John. And thank you for the 5, my friend. Yeah, I imagine, they have so much more, considering how much stuff they took out of the actual crime scene. Now that they have Bryan Kohberger as their main suspect, the amount of, possible exchange of microscopic material from him to whatever, to the victim's clothing, to the bed, to the mattress, to the door, even if he didn't use his hand to, for example, if he had gloves on touching the doorknobs, there could still be microscopic things coming off of his jacket or his clothing. I don't know really how in depth they are getting in all this, but I would imagine that they're going to do their best to get as much against him that they can. Guys, thank you so much. Also, gosh, I didn't expect 400 people to join on like a Friday afternoon stream, but thank you guys. And Lene just said I didn't get a notification until like 20 minutes in. It really, really helps, like I said, to subscribe or to like the stream to help get YouTube to send the notification out to the subscribers that maybe haven't been notified, to get them in here so they can pop in. So thank you to those who have hit the subscribe button or hit the like button already. Well, I guess hit the subscribe button if you haven't already as well, if you're enjoying the content. But good to see you, Lene. I'm going to get to the chat in a moment. We're going to go through these couple of things, and then we're going to watch kind of an interactive video about the timeline. Someone came out with a more interactive timeline. Hairs from his bushy eyebrows will be found in the victim's home. I don't know. I don't know if eyebrow hairs really come off that easily. But then again, we don't know how how much of a fight some of these victims put up. So there's certainly a possibility for all of that. Okay, so obviously we talked about the Fire Stick. There's a whole list of things that they could pull from there in terms of his search history, what he was watching. And like I said, there are internet kind of capabilities on those. The hair strands, we talked about the hair strands, the 8 possible up here, and then they list individual possible hair strands in addition to the animal hair strand. I think that's interesting. Of course, any defense could say, then again, they would have their dog to compare. I don't know exactly how that works, but there's a lot of defense attorneys that are basically saying that they can poke a lot of holes in this and that this isn't that substantial just on the surface level. But if they're able to determine an animal hair strand that's an exact match with their dog, that would they would have to explain why that would be there, right? So, all right. Anyways, the computer tower. This is another thing that is one of the most substantial things on this list in terms of like getting so much out of what you think is just like a small item, right? A computer tower can be like really, really small and you don't think that there's much in there, but there's millions of, data, pieces of data that they can pull from that tower, that PC that he may have thought he got rid of, but they can go in and recover. So if he did think he was being sneaky, and if he did plan some sort of event, plan this out in the lead up to it and still deleted his search history or even images or videos, they have a way, if you don't properly delete things, they have a way of going in and actually fully recovering certain things. I personally had a hard drive that looked a lot like this right here. This is this actually has my full documentary on it, the true crime doc that is done. If for some reason I accidentally fully deleted everything off of this hard drive, as long as I don't properly do a full level like format of this hard drive, there are ways you can send this into companies and like with these investigations, they have like high level experts in data recovery to be able to see, did he fully process and, format his PC. We don't know if he deleted anything, but what I'm saying is even if he did, there's a chance they can go in and pull some of that data off again. I did that. So my example is that I accidentally deleted, not this drive, but I deleted an entire hard drive once thinking it was a separate drive. And I sent it into a company. I didn't do anything. I stopped because I didn't want to accidentally like do the full format. But they were able to go in and recover all the files. It cost me like $300, but it saved an entire client project. So that was very worth it. Dog hair in the carpet is nauseating. So continuing on. So did they find it in the carpet? What do you mean? So in addition to the computer tower, one collection of dark red spot collected without testing. So I don't know exactly what they mean by that. If they had to like, maybe there was a dark red spot in his carpet that they cut out. They're not very specific about that, but very interesting nonetheless. B, they have 2 cuttings from uncased pillow of reddish brown stain, larger stain tested. So these are all things they removed from the house. So I'm wondering what, when they're talking about tested, would they test it on site or have they already tested it? I have no idea. But if for some reason his pillow had a brownish red stain, that could be a bloody nose, who knows? Or it could be something more significant. Either way, they have that. Also 2 top and bottom mattress cover packaged separately, both labeled C, multiple stains, 1 tested. The weird thing to me is like, if we don't know the significance or the amount of stained mattress covers that are packaged. Did he come home bloody and just like lay in bed and then continue to use those covers every night? Or I don't know how I'm reading this, but it's just like, what if this guy is just so disturbing? There's so much like they came in and he didn't actually get rid of potentially like bloodied mattress covers. Like, one thing can be explained on the pillow. If he had his own blood on a pillow, maybe he picked a scab on his face or something before bed and fell asleep, like that. Those things happen, right? Or nosebleeds, like I said. But the mattress cover, that one's an interesting one to me. Alexa says, I found it a bit odd that he had no pillowcases. Yeah, I mean, you would think they would have had that in the listed collected items. So I guess it's not that he maybe didn't have them. Maybe they didn't collect them. But then again, you would think that they would collect them. I don't know. Ina, hi, everyone just got here. Notification was late. No worries. Clearly the notification is still making its way to people's inbox. Thank you for joining regardless. Stacey says he didn't plan to get caught. I think that is part of it. I think he had this false sense of I think his ego was a little bit big and he thought maybe he was ahead of the crime. But then again, once that bolo comes out for the white Hyundai Elantra, I think he's got to be a little bit worried at that point. So real quick, I want to go through the reason why I titled this video, Bryan Kohberger, Not a Coincidence. And the thumbnail of this video is Bryan and a vegan pizza, okay? Pullman and Moscow are both relatively small towns, college towns, right? They're both within like 10 minutes or 10 miles of each other, 15-minute drives. One's in Washington, one right next to the Idaho border, right on the Idaho border. In Idaho. Even though these are relatively small towns, being that they're college towns, I got to thinking there are likely a decent amount of vegan options. I know that vegans, I think that there are more vegans that are younger now that are exploring alternative food diets and things like that. Some people find it better for their diet to be vegan. I'm not here to judge about what people eat, what people don't eat, but what I'm saying is I feel like it skews younger in terms of like people attempting or trying maybe different diets out, vegan diet being included. So with this being a college town, I was like, let me look into how many vegan restaurants are in Pullman and Moscow. And I don't need to know the exact number, but I just need to know, like, was the Mad Greek the only place he could get a vegan option? Because one of the other things that should be noted is that the Mad Greek isn't primarily a vegan restaurant. If you actually look at their Instagram page, it doesn't even say, first and foremost, vegan options, right? If it was a vegan only restaurant, or they were really like took pride in their vegan menu, I'm not saying they would have to put this, but if they were a vegan only restaurant, they would for sure put that in the bio. And I think people leading up to this initially thought it was a vegan only restaurant. I know Greek food has a lot of vegan options. I think that is just the title of this place. They sell a lot of meat options with vegan alternatives and vegan options as well. So I looked, and in Pullman alone, there are 7 restaurants listed as vegan-friendly restaurants. So this is where Bryan Kohberger was going to school. So he had many options in terms of vegan options right down the street from where he lived. Not saying that it's illegal to go into the town over to get a vegan pizza. However, the number 3 rated vegan restaurant or vegan option restaurant in Pullman is Porch Light Pizza right here. And Porch Light Pizza, in relation to where Bryan lived, was only 1.6 miles away. And if you actually go to their page, on their TripAdvisor page rather, it's listed right here, vegetarian pizza, or vegetarian friendly vegan options right here. It's kind of hard to see. They list it front and center. So I don't know. This also looks like chicken right here. It might be tofu, I guess. But I would imagine that they maybe sell both, and they're just listing that they have specialty diet options. But they have gluten-free options, vegan options, vegetarian options. Once again, it's not illegal to go from Pullman to Moscow, but what's his reason? Why? Why go to the Mad Greek restaurant and get a vegan style pizza? I don't believe it was a coincidence. I think there's more that's going to be coming out. Obviously, we have the new gag order that's being pushed to attorneys and people connected to the case, but there's no way that I believe it's a coincidence. I think if Bryan really wanted a vegan pizza, he could just go down the street. And then in Moscow, there are many other legitimate, like pretty much vegan only restaurants, or primarily vegan restaurants. This is a list. This right here does not look vegan at all. That's meat clearly. But if we click on it, I bet they're going to say that they have vegan and vegetarian options. So once again, many places on this list in Moscow that he could have gone for either an all vegan or an easier vegan diet, vegan option. Even this pizza place in Moscow specifies vegan options right there on their site. So I think it's a little bit strange to me why he would drive 15 minutes over to the town next door to get pizza. But at the same time, it's not illegal, and I know people definitely travel far and wide for their favorite types of food, whether it's barbecue, vegan pizza, Italian, whatever it is. People definitely travel longer than the 10 minutes between these two towns. So it's not illegal, but I do find it somewhat strange that he made it over to the Mad Greek. I truly think that it was a Maddie. I think either he saw them maybe he was there in town and he decided to go there because there was a vegan option. And maybe that's where his fixation on either Maddie and Xana, or one or the other, started. And then from there, maybe he made that a familiar place. But if we actually go to the Newsweek article, there's many articles about this. There's nothing overly memorable about the Mad Greek experience. So Bryan Kohberger ordered vegan pizza at least twice from a restaurant where two of the victims worked as servers, and was very particular about his food, according to a new report. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but he went to the restaurant, and a former employee of the restaurant told People magazine that Kohberger came to grab a vegan pizza, but that there was nothing suspicious about the visits. They said he stood out because his particularity when it came to making sure the food had not been in contact with animal products. Once again, there would be better opportunities for him to come in contact, go to a restaurant that guarantees no, food transfer from one pan to another, like not being cooked in a pan with meat versus, you know what I mean? Like he was making sure, and they talked about that with, I think, his aunt and uncle, that they had to buy new pots and pans. So though there's nothing suspicious about it, it is a weird kind of thing that they probably had to kind of work around. But yeah, it noted that investigating authorities are aware of the restaurant visits. Police have reportedly interviewed the Mad Greek owner and employees, as well as taking surveillance footage. So they're obviously aware of these two instances where he had them make a vegan pizza. Is there more to it, though? How far back do the Mad Greek security cameras go? Was that in the last, we know that Bryan was seen or supposedly in the area through cell phone records of the 1122 Queen Road residence in the 12 weeks leading up to, or rather between June and November, 12 times. If he was only said to have gone there 2 times, was that in that time frame? Was he trying to come in contact with them? Is he on video at that time? It's reported that the Mad Greek restaurant is actually pretty small inside. Like, it's not like, I think someone said, it's not like a Cheesecake Factory. It's a pretty small restaurant. So it's an intimate enough setting that you'd probably, even if your server wasn't wasn't Maddie or Xana, you still might be able to like watch them and like, hey, flag them down, ask them for a refill or something. If your waitress or waiter is, for example, helping another table. I mean, even from this photo alone, you can see it doesn't look huge. We can probably get some shots inside. Yeah, there you go. You can see each wall on these photos. You can see the wall over here. I'll use this little circle because I can. Look, right up here, you can kind of see the wall. And then you can see the wall here. It's like 15 feet, maybe even less, across. And then probably, I don't know how deep or how far back it goes, but that's kind of what it appears to be in this shot. It looks to be a super kind of long building with the 2 walls on the left and right, pretty narrow. But yeah, it doesn't even look like so they got the pizza in this photo. I was gonna say, it doesn't even look super like they promote the pizza heavily. There's a good shot of just how small it is. So I do not believe it's a coincidence that he was there. I think, yeah, and Angela, that's a great point. I truly believe if they were talking, I don't think it's a coincidence that they were also talking about a stalker. And I know that the stalker, the rumors and kind of the talk about the stalker was around Kaylee in kind of the beginning of all of this. But I also don't think that that's just a coincidence that they were talking about a stalker. I think that there was something going on between June and November, and they picked up on it. I think that the problem is our victims are not here to talk about their experience, right? We have the guy that was at the vape shop, right? The vape shop employee even said that they were at the vape shop and they had not joked about it, but they had said, like, you know, we have a stalker. We travel in a pack, right? Like we try to be safe and diligent. And it's like, he even remembers them talking about that, yet some of their friends are still alive to maybe give those statements about exactly how serious this stalker situation was. But I think there's going to be more to that as well, because our victims are no longer here to talk, but the people that were closest to them, there are still people remaining that I guarantee you have talked to law enforcement and either validated how severe or serious this stalker situation was, or ruled it out and, you know, oh yeah, I mean, we have weird guys that hit us up on Instagram or Snapchat all the time, and, you know, we're at a big college town. Like, it could be a situation like that. Not that I'm normalizing stalking, but like, there are girls that talk about weird guys that try to hit on them all the time. Was it just a case like that, or are they going to be able to come forward and say, no, like they believed they were being kind of watched often and in a pretty serious way? The food does look good. People were talking about the food. I personally love Greek food. I love gyros. Like, I love hummus. Like, I don't know what kinds of hummus are here, but I love like roasted red pepper hummus. I love just regular hummus. I'm not a fan of these olives though. I'll be honest about that. Yeah. Junebug, did you go over the search warrant? I didn't go through like every detail, but I did go through the list of the items taken from the search warrant. But yeah, we didn't go through every little detail. Okay. So the Mad Greek was 1.4 miles from the house. Just a little thing there. Now we're going to get into the coverage, right? The potential cell towers. Now, I hope that this doesn't get boring at this point, but this is something I was going to just do on my own, and I figured I'm going to stream and maybe go through some of this. But when I'm in Moscow, Idaho, for example, and I scan, I paid for this app earlier today. I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. It's a little hard to see. Let me adjust the settings here. Oh gosh, my cord is holding me back. Okay. I'm going to show you this one time. Okay, so you can see AT&T. These are all AT&T towers, these blue ones, okay? The yellow ones are Sprint. So Sprint only has a couple of towers in Moscow. And then the white and red and black, those are Verizon towers. So they clearly, AT&T has more individual towers. There we go. But apparently that's the tower locations. Okay. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. Now I'll brighten this up. Okay, a little brighter. Okay. Hopefully that's not too bright. But now that you guys can see kind of what I'm looking at with this app, I took some screenshots and I want to go through and see like how close, what's the closest AT&T tower? Because like I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, I think not only cell phone data, you know, tower locations, but app data. I say data. That being pulled from different apps. Like, for example, let me just test my phone out right now. Yeah, look, I still have, I'm not going to show my map because it'll show exactly where I'm at, but my apps that are currently running, one of them is Google Maps or Apple Maps. I'm probably pinging through Apple Maps right now to where if they were able to get a warrant to get into this app to see specific map detail, you could legit like get really accurate GPS data from my phone. Data. Depends on what I'm saying it. So I think that there's going to be way more that they get to in terms of his potential apps that were running in the background when he was driving to be able to pin him closer to the actual house. Same thing for the 12 times that he was pinging in that area. I think that they're going to be able to get some more detailed information. Let's see. You are likely using products that may be killing off even more animals to produce. Wait, what are you talking about, TD? Are you talking about vegan meals? Okay. Cosmic, thank you so much for the 2. Cosmic, thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Honey Wheels, hello, Aaron. I caught you live. Yes, you did. We have been live for about 45 minutes. Thank you for joining. Okay, so I went ahead, since I'm not able to like share my screen super easily with you guys. I obviously showed you what this app looks like. I went ahead and screenshotted some of these locations. And I don't know why it does that, but I'm going to have to reopen it. Why does it do that? Hold on. All right, bear with me here. Okay. Is this going to work for me or is it going to freak out? Okay, it seems to be working. So this is Moscow. It's very, very small right here. These are AT&T towers, okay? So we're going to go look for one right now. First of all, actually, before I do that, I'm going to leave that open. I was looking at a service called citydata.com. They are listing a tower, and I don't know what tower this is, but it's in Moscow, and it's right next to, well, I have it pulled up right here. Actually, hold on. It's right here, next to the Alman Asbury, whatever, however you say this, Llewellyn Park. So I went ahead and dropped a pin on this. We're going to look for this specific tower. And boom, there it is. Built onto a water tower, you can see a bunch of different like cell phone like I don't know, satellite or like antennas or receivers or whatever it is. Transmitters, I have no idea. But there's a lot coming off of there. And actually, if you go to this page here, I have what do AT&T cell towers look like? Boom, right there. So this is an example of one on a water tower. You can see these are what we're kind of looking at. In certain cities, they will be masked, like within like a tree. So, for example, this is 2 cell phone towers that are masked as palm trees. I used to live in Miami. I would see these in certain locations, and it would trip me out because I would see what looked like a palm tree, and then you like kind of squint your eyes or turn your head a little bit, and you're like, that's not a palm tree. And yeah, they kind of make them blend in to the to their surroundings. So they do this a lot in more tropical places, but even not non-palm trees, they'll do this with like more like this isn't a palm tree, like more like wooded type trees, if that makes sense. Foresty type trees. Like here's one right here. It's built into this tree right here. You can see the antennas and the receivers and the whatever it is that they use. And yeah, they essentially camouflage it. No way is one a cactus. Wow, there's no way. But yeah, so we're going to search for a couple. Obviously, like I said, there's this one here. I don't know if there's AT&T towers, AT&T built into this specific tower, but this is certainly one right here. And once again, that location is right here. You can see on this map, you can see the tower. If we go back to this map, it's a little easier. And as the crow flies, this is exactly 1 mile from the Moscow, from the King Road residence. As the crow flies. So if he is pinging off a tower, I saw some people saying 1 to 5 miles, whatever. I've been hearing ranges of up to like 20 miles that you can be, you can ping off a tower up to 20 miles away from it and still be pinging off of that tower. And so when they talk about him being in the area of the victim of the location 12 times, what does that mean? Was he, he could have been way over here on the west side of town. Does that mean, and he could have been pinging off this tower, right? Does that mean, that doesn't necessarily mean he was at that location. So that's what I'm saying. Cheryl says 20 miles. Cheryl says 20 miles. Let's see what you guys are saying. They don't. Early on this case, I remember a comment asking if there was a water tower nearby. I found it a strange question. Oh, yeah. So that may be why people were asking about the water tower, certainly. Quick break to just go ahead and say thank you to the 541. Thank you guys for being here. If you are enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. We have 200 and some odd likes. It really helps the stream out to hit that like button. And I just want to go ahead and say thank you to the mods for being here. We have Angela in the house, Junebug's in here. Typically, the moderation is not super needed because a lot of people in our chat try to keep it civil, and we just have, conversations that are, I don't know what the word is, but people like to have just productive conversations, and it still helps to have the mods in here. Angela's in the house, TD, Joyce. Thank you guys for being here. So big shout out to the mods. And then, what else was I going to say? The sus bus. I know that a lot of you guys maybe haven't seen in the last couple streams, but we have a sus bus now. And I didn't get on it earlier, but it doesn't mean that I'm sus. It means that I am suspicious. And I just want to hop on the sus bus and say, because this stream is not a coincidence, that's the title. I just want to go back on what I was saying. I don't believe it was a coincidence that Bryan was at the Mad Greek 2 times. I don't believe that's a coincidence. Like I said earlier, there's a whole list of vegan-friendly restaurants in Pullman that he could have gone to. There's specifically a vegan pizza place called Porch Light Pizza in Pullman that's less than 2 miles away from where Bryan lived. I think it's strange for him to drive across to the other, literally to another state, if you want to be specific like that, to get a vegan pizza. I think it's very strange. Okay, gonna read some of your comments and we'll jump back into the search for cell phone towers, because there's more towers than just the one that we saw a moment ago. Okay, what are you guys saying? Sage, thank you for the shout out to the mods. I'm a mod on a channel. They never thank us. Oh, Sage. That's not cool. Eyes on the road, Aaron. You're driving the sus bus full of suspects. Absolutely. That's true. That's a good way of putting it. Let's see. Paul K coming in. Didn't they have his cell phone from the first traffic stop? When looking for white Elantra, would you not go back? Didn't they have his cell phone from the first traffic stop? They did. So let me pull up. Well, let me find from the affidavit. And thank you for that 5 there, Paul. They have his cell phone. Or sorry, they have his Elantra, the location in multiple places. In and around his residence in Pullman. If we scroll through here. When they start talking about suspect vehicle 1. Yeah. So yeah, review footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood. So this is in the neighborhood where the homicides took place, but they can see suspect vehicle. But they also have suspect vehicle traveling basically from Pullman to Moscow. I don't want to go through the entire thing. But yes, I don't know what you're talking about. The first traffic stop, I believe what you're referring to, if I find it here, they definitely have, they picked him up both in Pullman prior to the homicides and then obviously into Moscow, and then they have him speeding away at a high rate of speed, leaving the crime scene. So it makes 3 initial passes by the King Road residents, eventually parks. It can eventually be seen again entering a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m., and then can be seen eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road. So yeah, Paul, I don't know exactly which one you're referring to, but yes. No, the first stop. Oh, the seatbelt thing in August. Oh, yeah. Didn't they have his cell from the first? Yes, I believe they got his cell phone from that. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, there was that traffic stop, the seatbelt incident in August. Yeah, you're right. I apologize, I misread that. But yeah, yeah, that's a good call. They definitely had his info from that initial traffic stop. Okay, reading a couple more comments here. Cops should have contacted all the metal detecting clubs and sent them to find the knife. Mountain, we don't know. I mean, I doubt that they're recruiting, the weekend hobbyists, but I would imagine, my opinion is that they are absolutely still trying to find that knife, because that would absolutely be a slam dunk for the prosecution. So just because they haven't talked about anything like that does not mean that that's not actively being done right now. I think personally, I think that the knife was ditched the day after, potentially in the Snake River. I think I have like a weird feeling about this. He was seen the next day. They have cell phone record of him near Kate's Cup of Joe right here in Clarkston. And then they have him going into the Albertsons. And then based on the affidavit, his phone once again turned off for a 3-hour period. This is the day after the homicides. His phone turned off for a 3-hour period. So between him being at this Albertsons and then the Steptoe Apartments, that's a 48-minute drive if he were to go straight back. You could easily make that right there. Boom, look at that. This would be the quickest way. This would be the route that takes you all along the Snake River. I said this in previous streams. I'm standing by this. I think he probably had his phone off and he took a much longer route. And he could have gotten out of his car at any given point along this route and just looked like a normal, like, look how beautiful this is as well. But you're right along the road. There are areas to park along this. This right here, you would never want to pull off right here. But you could easily just get out and act like you're taking photos with your phone and then ditch the knife. I think in addition to metal detecting, which is what was mentioned, I think that it's like a needle in a haystack, but at the very least, I think they probably are going to take this route and look for the knife along here. That might be too much though. I don't know. Suzanne says they need to get Adventures with Purpose to get the knife. Yeah, I mean, they need to get some, like, finding a knife like that, I think it's next to impossible, because it's not like he would probably, they can drag magnets all day long. You're going to pull up so much junk probably that gets ditched, or, things that accidentally fall out of boats that are metal. But I believe that the knife is somewhere in this river. I think the weird coincidence, once again, not a coincidence. I think it's not a coincidence that he traveled an hour south the day after the murders to go to the grocery store in Clarkston. No. He drove an hour south and then eventually turned his phone off to not be seen and tracked. And I think that that's where it went. Girl interrupted. Yeah, that would be a major feat. I don't think it's possible. But then again, it would be beneficial for them to at least check a few of the major points where it would be easy to get out and possibly ditch something. But once again, I think the legitimate data that they're going to get from apps on his phone and other GPS data that might put him in one of these locations. Look at the Chandler Halderson case. If you guys remember the Chandler Halderson case, his Snapchat information literally showed he had his location turned on, and it showed him near this like area next to the river. And they were like, well, what are you doing over here? That's exactly where they ended up finding, I believe, his mother's thigh. Like literally he dismembered his family. And they saw like, oh, you were in this area for like 35 minutes. What were you doing here? And they sent a search team out there, and they found, his mother's remains. I mean, imagine if right here they were like, what were you doing near the whatever John Landing right here, however you say that, and they could see that he had stopped there. That might be able to pinpoint a search in this area that could warrant a knife being found. I don't know, or could yield that. But yes, Godly can reveal things. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Did he throw the pillowcases away? Kathy says, I don't know, Kathy. I don't know. But once again, I don't know if Bryan had Snapchat or any of these apps that could have been tracking his location a bit more. That'll all come out. And I think TD said, I can't wait for, or Junebug says, I can't wait for the computer tower evidence. That is going to be insane, because even if he deleted certain things, there's going to be some stuff that they probably find. And I think it was a News Nation clip that I was watching recently. People that plan out crimes like this oftentimes plan them at home or in their office. You're not going to Google, how to get rid of a body, or, how do you do this or how do you do that as it relates to a crime in the line at Starbucks. You might, but you're likely going to do it in a place where no one can look over your shoulder at home. So there's probably going to be some stuff they find on that computer for sure. He would have put the pillowcases in the neighbor's garbage. Yeah, who knows? Wait, Saleo. Wait, what happened? I'll mute myself. Can't handle some of the ignorance in chat. No offense, Aaron. The mods. Wait, okay, I'm out of here for now, Saleo says. What's going on in the chat, Saleo? What's the ignorant comments? I'm trying to look through some of the comments here. If you guys aren't agreeing with certain people in the chat, just try to get past that. We're not all going to agree on certain theories / things that we think happened, but we can certainly all talk about it in a way that's productive. So yeah, if you aren't ever enjoying your time on the channel, or you need a break, take a break. I want this to be a place where we can just kind of have legit conversations, and so hopefully you guys are doing that in the comments. Okay, so we're going to pinpoint a couple of these potential search or towers. So it's kind of hard to see, but off of Highway 95 near 7th Street, there's an AT&T tower. So we're going to go to Highway 95, which is right here. So my mouse, let me show you guys. I'm going to do this little circle. The AT&T tower that they're showing is likely right about there, if that makes sense. So the Verizon tower, the AT&T tower looks like it'd be about right there, based on the way the road curves right here. So next to 7th Street. All right, let's figure this out. So I think the tower would be somewhere right there. So let's just see if we can find an AT&T tower if we go to Street View. Right. So there's Main Street. There's 7th Street. It's saying right here. Any towers? Any antennas? I wonder if they're using this location, like utilizing the height of these, whatever, these grain elevator things. It kind of looks like right there. Oh, look, right there. Yeah, right there. Those I'm just circling right now. Those are clearly some sort of cell tower. And then also up here, of course, this is a very obvious one. There's some level of antenna happening. Some sort of a booster, Jeff Brown is saying. So yeah, these could all be boosters, right? We have no idea the actual like level of tower that these are. If you guys are just joining, I downloaded and paid for this app, and I went to Moscow on the app, and it's showing all of these different Verizon / AT&T / Sprint towers. So we're just going through and we're kind of just seeing on the maps if we can find them. Oh. Paul K, love this content. Hit that like button, guys. Yeah, Paul, thank you so much. Really appreciate that, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap that bell notification. Because we are going through map time right now. We are enjoying a bit of map time, looking for some cell phone towers, and let's keep looking. So we found that one, I believe. So let's zoom out. This one over here is to the left of Highway 95. So it'd be closer. So you can see the hook in the road right here. That's the hook right here. So it'd be just above it. There's Asbury Street and there's Almond Street. So it looks like it'd be like somewhere right here. So let's drop our little guy right there. Any boosters or towers in this area? I don't know how specific the mapping points on here are. But what we're going to do next is we're going to go find the one that's the closest to the 1122 King Road or Queen Road address. Indie Girl says, wonder if there are any fire cameras to check on the day he possibly drove this route to Snake River. Oh, Indie Girl. Yeah. So that's another thing. They are absolutely canvassing that entire, I mean, obviously we know what they included in the affidavit in terms of him being near the Kate's Cup of Joe. And of course the Albertsons or whatever the gas station or the grocery store was. But they are absolutely canvassing that area once again, probably even more, to try to get him on security camera footage. Okay, so I didn't see any towers or antennas or boosters in this location. So we'll keep looking. I'm going to find the one that's closest to their house would be this one. Let me find it here. Cell towers. Wait, that would be pretty close. Cell towers 2. Okay, here we go. All right, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Cell towers 2. Okay, now we have these ones pulled up. It's kind of hard to see, but once again, we have the University of Idaho right here. If we go back to the map, zoom out, go here, we can line it up. So we got the University of Idaho. I don't know where to put myself. Maybe I just take myself off of this for a moment. It's not really, you don't really need to see me in this exact moment, but just know that I'm here. You can hear my voice. So once again, there's going to be an AT&T tower somewhere right over here, if you see my mouse, based on the map. The house, keep in mind, is right down here. Measure distance. If we zoom out, the closest tower is going to be right over here, 2,600 feet away. And I don't know, keep in mind, I don't know if this is a legit AT&T tower or some sort of booster. I know that right here on the map it's showing an AT&T as well as an AT&T right here. Okay, so we're going to go try to find this one that's right over here. It is specifically just north of Idaho Street next to Stadium Road. So I kind of have my mouse right on it. So here is Idaho. There's Stadium Road. So there's going to be one, like, if I clear this measurement, two within this kind of like block right here. So let's just drop the pin somewhere in this parking lot. Keep in mind, like we talked about earlier, they could be hidden as a tree. Oh, there's that. Is that the tower that we saw earlier with the other cell phone? Huh. All right, let's keep going around. It's harder to tell in this parking lot. This is Stadium Road. Where's Idaho Street? There's Idaho Ave. Maybe let's go into this parking lot and look from this side. You know what? They could be utilizing these buildings, and it's just something that we can't quite see from here. So we'll check another one. Guys, I have got to quickly use the restroom. Stick around. We're going to keep streaming for a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and give another shout out to today's sponsor, DataSeal. Guys, if you want to protect your online information, there is a link pinned as well as down in the descriptions. Thank you to DataSeal for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to quickly play their sponsored bit and refill my water and quickly use the restroom. Thanks, guys. Thanks again to our partner, DataSeal. If you guys have concerns about your home address or other personal information being exposed online, use the link below and promo code 5OFFALL to get 5% off. Back. Okay. It's always nice chat. Just love it. Carol Brown, it is a nice chat. Guys, thank you for keeping it cool in the chat on this Friday afternoon. Commercial break, that's right. TD, it's hard to know what to believe. Reading some of your guys' comments. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open up the phone lines in case anyone wants to call in while we are just searching for these Google Towers. Or sorry, not Google Towers. I said Google as I'm typing Google Voice. But as we're searching for these cell phone towers, I'm going to open up the phone lines. If you want to call in, the number is on the screen, 305-985-2690. Feel free to call in. I try to keep the calls between 3 and 5 minutes. If you want to add anything to what we're talking about from today's stream while we're searching for these other towers, feel free to do so. I'd love to have you guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts. 305-985-2690. Scott, I did wash my hands. That's why I was adjusting my ring, because I didn't dry my hands very well. Clearly, I ran back in here. But yes, thank you for asking if I wash my hands. It's very important to wash your hands. Call in if you so choose. I'll put that little number back up there in a moment, but Junebug has listed the number. So if you guys see Junebug's comment in the chat, there it is, 305-985-2690. Detroit says, I just have a bad feeling about this case. Evidence seems sketchy. Hopefully they have some direct evidence held back. I believe that they will. There's going to be a lot.
Call from.
Wash my hands. Very important to wash your hands.
To accept.
Thanks for calling. And they hung up. All right. I don't know if they knew that we were connected, but they hung up. Okay. We're gonna try to find this one that's over here, next to or to the east of the University of Idaho. Suspected spam caller, it says.
Call from.
Jennifer.
I don't know why it said suspected
To accept,
spam.
press 1.
Is this Jennifer?
Yes, it is.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Yes, there is a difference between a hair shaft and a hair follicle. And one can be used as evidence, as its own item if it has the hair follicle, because you can get DNA from it.
Oh, yeah. So you're talking about with the listed items on the search warrant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, I think so. You're saying obviously if you have the full like follicle that's like embedded into the skin, that's like you're going to get way more off of that. Yeah.
Yes, you can get DNA, and therefore it's an item of evidence. Otherwise, if it doesn't have the hair follicle, then it is just considered an item of class, meaning you can classify it as human or animal.
Oh, okay. So you think that what they have... Yeah, do you think that based on that, do you think they have actual, like, the follicle? Or when they say possible hair, it might just be, like you said, like they're classifying it as a hair because they might not know.
Well, I think they may be saying strand means that it has the follicle on the end, whereas if it's animal, maybe they're just listing it as hair. Or if it's a human hair without the follicle.
Okay. Yeah, that might be why they have kind of the different, like, possible hair, and then they have the strands, like you said, on that listed on number 5. That would be great if they had, like, full, with the follicle, 8 possible hair strands. That would be great, yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, thanks for adding to that. Yeah, thanks for calling.
Okay.
All right, see ya. Jennifer calling in to clarify or give some insight on the potential or the differences between the strands, the class of, the hair, it's classified as a hair, or, actually having a strand with the follicle. That's very interesting. Thanks for calling, Jennifer. All right. I'm going to be, even if someone calls in, I'm going to be actively looking for this one right here while we're chatting.
Call from.
Paul K.
To accept, press.
How's it going? Thanks for calling.
Oh, hi, Aaron. It's Paul K. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling, Paul.
I'm calling from Australia, so great show.
Oh,
It's really good. It's really good content.
thanks.
Hit that like button, guys.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, with the white Elantra, the first stop in August, I just thought, once they had found out what they were looking for, the white Hyundai Elantra, wouldn't they go back to see if that was involved in any traffic stops or parking tickets, and then grab his number?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I wonder what the order was, because they were on to Bryan pretty early on, like within like 2-ish weeks.
Really early.
Really early. So I wonder,
really early.
did they go back and see, like, oh wait, we did have a record of a Hyundai Elantra traffic stop.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they started tracking him because they got his license plate and they know he changed his license plate.
Yeah.
So that all that information would have been done not long after the murders, I reckon, and that's how I feel anyway. This is only my own opinion.
Right. Yeah. I mean, maybe. Yeah. That would make sense. I mean,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's how the son of Sam was caught with a parking ticket, if you remember.
Yeah, that's crazy. To think that if Bryan's traffic stop from August is what like kind of propelled this thing to the next level of like, oh wait, we stopped this guy, because yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. They didn't clarify then exactly like how they.
No, they haven't.
Yeah,
they haven't said anything about that, and I haven't heard anyone bring it up. That's all. That's why I thought I'd comment on it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. I can't wait for this to go to trial and to actually hear the prosecution build their, I can't wait to hear their entire case on, like, especially if they are getting potential like evidence off his computer as well that shows that he planned this, that kind of thing too. So I can't wait.
Yeah. That's how they know he visited it 12 times, because they already had his cell, I reckon. They already had his cell.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So they would have, because they must have gotten the warrant for that cell information quickly to know that he stopped or he was in the area 12 times. Yeah, that makes sense.
Correct.
So yeah, they got the cell.
And I think you have to give your cell phone number, don't you, on traffic stops? Like, what's your phone number? Where do you live?
Yeah,
blah, blah,
I'm trying
blah.
to think if that's one of the main. I feel like I know it's obviously it's your driver's license, and is your phone number on your driver's license? I don't know if it's on it, but it might.
I don't think it is.
Your
but they
address
ask you
is,
what your
but
name, date of birth.
Yeah, exactly. They could have easily.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm in Australia, so I don't know what the traffic stops are like.
Yeah,
in America, but on TV and stuff. Yeah,
right.
So, but anyway, that's what I thought.
No, that's super interesting.
Great content, Aaron. I really love your map time.
Hey, thanks so much, Paul.
It's a great show, and thank you so much for your time. I really
and
appreciate it.
good morning
Thank
over
you.
in Australia. I don't know what time it is, but I assume it's early in the morning. Yeah.
It's 7:54 a.m. on Saturday morning.
All right, Saturday. You're in the future. All right. Well, we'll see you, or we'll see you in the chat. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, mate. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
cheers,
guys. See ya. Bye.
Everyone wish Paul a good morning in the future over in Australia. 7:54 a.m. calling in. That man is in Saturday already. He'll have to let us know if there's any new developments in the case, considering he's in the future. I'm trying to find this tower right here, by the way.
Cindy Newman.
Hey, Cindy. Thanks for calling.
Oh. Hi, Aaron. Yeah, I'm just calling about that last call.
Uh-huh.
They did have his phone number, and remember the Pullman campus police got that car and the license plate and reported it from Washington. That's how they found out it was him. Well, he got the phone number, and they did do those searches and stuff, but mostly all that happened after his arrest. But when the guy said, couldn't they have looked and seen if he'd been pulled over or given a ticket, remember they did do that and told us he was pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt in Moscow. So they were doing that, and that's the only thing he had was that.
Mm-hmm.
driving with not wearing a seatbelt.
So yeah, it must have been from that August incident then that they had that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they did, and they were pulling him over. And then the caller before, I just wanted to add that the hair follicle, right, for DNA out of the scalp, pulled the whole thing out. But from a hair strand or some hair strands that are just cut, and I know this from working in law enforcement, you can get the drugs that have been in the body for up to like a year from some hair.
Okay, interesting.
And so they can use that hair for drug testing to see if he'd been using any of the illicit drugs.
Right. Or if he was supposed to be on any sort of medication, they could maybe even prove that through that testing as well to confirm like certain person's hair or whatever. Yeah, or anyone else, maybe even a victim, if they don't have the full follicle. Right. That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, they would be able to tell what drugs were used by that person if they could identify whose hair it was.
Right.
But, the short, curly, brownish red, it's Bryan's, because the other ones are blonde, and then, Xana and Ethan are brunettes. But I just hope that the dog's hair, Murphy, is in his apartment.
Yeah, I mean, that would be very difficult to explain away, You would have to explain a
really
relationship
would.
at that point with them, like, oh, well, I was dog sitting for them, or, I was friends with them. Yeah, there would be no way to explain why that would be the case. So.
Right, exactly.
Well, interesting. But, thanks for the insight there.
I just wanted to bring that to light when the UK guy just said or Australian, whatever, he said he didn't know what we do over here, but we knew he was pulled over before he was arrested. They knew that.
Yeah.
Before he was arrested. So
awesome.
I think they were running all sorts of plates through the system. They just probably didn't know it was him right at that exact moment.
Yeah.
But they have put that together.
All right.
But running all them plates for 22,000 Elantras. The thing about the 2011 and to 13, that those 2 years, the Elantra was different than the years prior and the years after. I'm worried that that's going to be a bit of a loophole. It could be.
Say that again, sorry.
But I looked it up, and the 2011 to 13 Elantra is different than the ones prior to 11 and after 13.
Right.
Like they had a model, they used that one, 11, 12, 13, but then they went back to using the other one or went to a different one. So the 15, 16, 14, 15, 16, 7 up, will be different.
Right.
But they expanded it through 16, so maybe that'll be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. We'll just have to see. But I appreciate you calling in.
And I know a lot of people are, you're welcome. A lot of people are upset because of the gag order, but you have to realize that when the police are building a case, all the lawyers talking back and forth, what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed, yada, 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 is influencing future jurors and the case. He hasn't even pled yet.
Right.
So we can't get ahead of ourselves and be too impatient.
Exactly.
That's just
the
last thing.
It's just good that we have a suspect. So, yeah.
Oh, good to have you back.
Yeah, thanks so much, and thanks for calling in.
You
Have
bet.
a good rest of your day.
We've talked before, but we'll talk again.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thanks. See ya. Another repeat caller. Thank you for calling. So that last one, I think Mike was saying the view from the street was old, and I agree, Mike. This one over here that I was just hunting down, it was from like 2011, so we didn't see any, but it was near buildings, so it's safe to say whatever antenna or booster or tower or whatever is over here north of Ash Street is likely on one of those buildings. But yeah, the street view is pretty old. This street view that we're on over here on the left is actually from October of 2021. And there they are. Boom. That one was fast. So we're looking up here on Paradise Crest Street, I believe is what it is. Paradise Creek Street. Once again, if I move my video, utilizing an existing tall structure, just like with the water tower, these boosters or antennas, whatever they are on this tower. So we're right up here, turn around, and it's very easy to see. This building is absolutely lined with antennas. So there they go. There they are. So that would be one of the closest ones to their apartment.
Call from
Lene.
Hey, Lene, how's it going?
Hey, how are you doing, Aaron? Good
Doing
to
well.
talk to you again.
Yeah, you as well.
How's all the Mull fam out there?
Doing well, hopefully.
Good. I hope they're all doing good. It's kind of warm here in Mississippi. But other than that, I'm doing okay.
Good deal.
I've really been speculating about the Brent guy that had gotten shot there in Washington. The one that was holding his roommates hostage. Because there is some connection between Bryan traveling in the same direction as to where the Brent guy was from. And I saw a picture of Brent, and he has shaved his eyebrows. And that was really sus.
Do you know what his last name is?
It starts with a K, but that's as far as I can tell you. It's kind of difficult. Can't even remember how it was spelled, but same identical initials. And he was in the U.S. Armed Force or something, and he was suffering from PTSD. And I think him and Bryan knew each other.
Oh, Brent Kohberger. Kohberger. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, I just pulled it up. Yeah.
Well, I was just kind of giving you a worm to throw out there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I
could do some digging.
Yeah, I think I had heard someone, or I saw someone else, I think, talking about this, but I hadn't. So that's interesting. Well, thanks.
Yeah, it is. It was very, very curious that the direction that he traveled in, that Bryan traveled in, the same day of the murders, that morning, followed the route to where it all connected to the Brent guy, even as far as into the Pullman part.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just thought maybe you could do some searching or,
Yeah, I'll definitely read more into this for sure.
Yeah, y'all are so much more better at it than I am.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not tech savvy.
Oh, well, no worries. Well, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I have this tab pulled up now. I'll definitely look into this after the stream a bit more too. So.
Alrighty, I'm very curious what you find out.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for calling.
Oh, you're welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye, y'all.
See ya. From Mississippi. Love the accent. All right. I was going to call in with the same thing, says Cheryl. Chris Davis. Hey, how's it going, Chris? Who is Brent Kohberger? Internet wonders if Bryan Kohberger knew Army vet gunned down by SWAT team. Weird. Gunned down by SWAT team. Any connection? When was this? Has led sleuths to wondering or generating a number of wild theories regarding the stabbings as well as the suspect. The latest point of contention among these online sleuths seems to be the possible connection between Kohberger and Brent Kohberger. Kohberger. Oh, the SWAT officer standoff. Is that the one that just happened that Bryan and his dad were talking about when they got pulled over? Kohberger, who is currently quartered in Latah County Jail, was arrested. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so the vehicle was pulled over. Authorities revealed Kohberger and his father were pulled over twice within a 9-minute span. The Indiana Police Department also released body cam footage. In one, they were discussing the incident near Washington State where the SWAT team killed an armed man amid a standoff. Yeah, I don't know. Probably no connection at all, to be honest. But you never know. I'm going to look more into this. I think that likely Bryan given that he was going to the University of Washington the time that this standoff took place, Bryan, even though he was across the country in Indiana at this point, likely got a message on his phone in the morning when this took place, this standoff, saying like, students on campus, be aware there's an active, thing happening, whatever it is, whatever they'd call it. Anytime there's an active threat on a campus, students are typically notified through a service that they essentially are signed up for because they have their number through the university, so they can send out mass text messages. So likely Bryan had that information from that morning, and they were just spouting that because it was the first thing on their mind, or they were talking about it. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. And who knows? Maybe there is a weird connection. One thing, so during that call, I measured out the distance. This is the closest known tower to the house. Obviously, these two towers over here to the right these ones over here to the left of this one, if you see my mouse, these would be closer, but we haven't been able to find these. They're somewhere over here, further to the left. But measuring from this tower, the Theolopius, Theophilia? What? I don't know how to say that. This tower to the residence 1122, as the crow flies, is like 3,300 feet. So that might be one of the closest towers. Actually, this tower over here that we also didn't find because the Google Street imagery was really, really old, that would be like right over here. That would be even closer. So anyways, not that any of these towers have any real, there's nothing behind them that, I'm just curious as to where these towers are. Are they going to be able to get certain information from these towers? I find it interesting that I'm even able to see where these towers exist. But we'll be done looking for the towers. Let's take another call or two, and then we'll go from there.
Call from
Barbara.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Hey.
How's it going? Do you have can you hear me? Hello? Sorry, Barbara. I think it was Barbara. If you want to call in, 305-985-2690. I'm going to take two more calls. Maybe Barbara can try to call back in. If you call in and you're watching the stream not through headphones, be sure to mute the stream when I end up answering the phone, because that will keep from delays and stuff happening. We were going to go through this video as well. I was going to go through this visual timeline. We'll do this after the next call. Maybe we'll do one more call. Whoever the next person to call in, I will take that call. And then we'll watch this visual timeline video. So anyone that wants to call in, we'll do one more call. I'm going to read some of your comments before we watch this visual timeline. Chris Davis says, with that many towers, shouldn't be hard to triangulate him. Possibly. Who knows? I think that, like I said, they have this rough estimate of 12 numbers that he was pinged in the area. I think they're going to be able to really pinpoint. All right, the last call before we watch this video.
call from
Hey, thanks for calling. I kind of hear you. Are you in like a weak spot in the house for service, or? I hate to hang up. I could hear her coming through a little bit. I think her name was Barbara. And Barbara, I'm going to look out for your comment. I don't know if you comment on the chat a lot. I just ended the calls. It didn't seem like it came through clearly. I could hear like a little like interference going on. I'll be looking out in the chat while we watch this video. Feel free to comment anything that you might want to add, and I'll try to look out for it. Sorry that did not work out. Alex says, I'll call next time. Ooh, okay. I'd love to hear from you. Junebug says, Barbara, keep trying. We tried twice with Barbara. Didn't work out, but maybe next time. Thanks to the people who did call in. All right, we're going to watch this ABC News video on YouTube. It is a detailed visual timeline.
November 12th in Moscow, Idaho. According to an affidavit released by authorities, Zana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin are seen hanging out at the Sigma Chi house. It's about a 5-minute walk from their off-campus house on King Road. Zana's roommates Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan are at the Corner Club. It's a historic...
So for the sake of like copyright, I'm just going to watch this muted. I don't want there to be any issue. This is just a visual timeline, okay? So once again, it's nice to have the little reference at the bottom. 1:30 in the morning. Maddie, Kaylee, and they were seen leaving the Corner Club heading to the grub truck. Obviously, remember that footage. And they were with the man that everyone is so suspicious of, obviously, early on. Darla Hurst can barely hear it. I have muted everything, Darla, just because she's talking.
This is the grub truck.
Yeah, she's just basically saying what I would be talking about, which I can just say what we're looking at because we followed this case long enough to know what we're looking at. This is the grub truck. Why are there so many angles and videos coming from the grub truck? Well, I don't know if they're talking about this in the actual video, but the grub truck live streams their shifts throughout the night on a platform called Twitch. Twitch is very similar to YouTube in that they host live streams. So, for example, you can see the chefs or the cooks in the back. You can see the man taking the order. And then they have a couple angles of the patrons, the guests waiting for their food. So that's why this is all captured on camera. I don't know why. It's kind of interesting, the fact that they live stream this, but it is kind of interesting. And I'm sure they get some funny interactions from students that are ordering there drunk at night. And in our case, we can now see and peer into the evening of Kaylee and Madison Mogan.
How many more do you need? That's the second one? Awesome. Dawn's mom. $10.
So, obviously he's talking with Maddie and Kaylee. Kaylee tried to use a certain point system to get a discount on the food. They didn't have enough points. They ended up paying in cash or paying the full $10 or whatever the amount was. We have Hoodie Guy right here, he was deemed Hoodie Guy, ended up following the girls, supposedly making sure that they got into their Uber and got to 1122 King Road safely. And they arrived there. Oh, hold on. We have a more detailed thing going on here. Okay, so this is new. But basically, we jump from 1:51 a.m. This is roughly when they were at the grub truck. This is interesting because now we have, we're introducing Kohberger.
They arrive at home on King Road. According to an affidavit, Ethan and Zana are already in the house along with 2 other roommates.
So yeah, they get home about 5 minutes later from the grub truck at 1:56. At 2:47 a.m.
Connecting to the cell network in nearby Pullman, Washington. This is where he lives and studies criminology as a PhD student at Washington State University. 2:53 a.m. Authorities say a white sedan consistent with a vehicle registered to Kohberger is seen traveling towards the highway that connects Pullman and Moscow. It's only about a 10-mile drive between the 2 cities.
So, once again, Bryan is spotted through pinged through cell service, leaving his house. At 3:29 a.m., he is in the location of the King Road residence.
By the victim's house. Authorities say this car will make another 2 passes in the next 30 minutes. It's 4 a.m. According to the affidavit, Zana receives a DoorDash delivery.
This right here is like the biggest. I think that there's going to be so much, and I'm pausing it here and there just so I can react to the videos and I don't get a weird copyright strike for kind of watching this video. But the To me, still, the I don't know why I'm holding my phone. The DoorDash incident is like, it's not an incident, but the DoorDash order at 4 a.m. is going to be a big deal in this case. I think that they likely have a witness. You know, they have the DoorDash, the person who gave that order, and they probably took them in for questioning and said, hey, did you notice anything suspicious about the time that you were at this house? He would have likely known, he or she, yeah, I actually saw this guy like circling around the property a lot, or, you know, hey, I saw this guy pacing around front of the building. Imagine if he could say he saw Bryan outside waiting to take his opportunity to come in. Because I think that Bryan went in directly after the DoorDash was delivered and maybe acted as if he was the DoorDash employee coming back saying, hey, I forgot to give you this or whatever. Cheryl says that's weird, ordering food at 4 a.m. I will say 4 a.m., it's pretty late to be ordering food. I've done it, maybe not quite 4 a.m., but I've definitely been back in the day when I would, when my friends and I would go out and party and, go to bars, do those kinds of things. We would go to a place in Lawrence, Kansas called Burrito King. And we would go there on foot because we stayed nearby there. And that place, I don't know when they closed, but I imagine we closed that place down several times, where we would order very late into the night. Yes, we had been drinking. It's not that crazy. But Cheryl, it is pretty late. At 4 a.m., I'd probably be thinking about just going to bed at that point. But then again, if you've had a lot to drink, it's a normal thing for college students. Just like Bodega Lady is saying, it's not too out of the ordinary.
And a source tells ABC News that the delivery is contactless and the order is left at the front door. A surviving roommate would later tell authorities that around this time, 4 a.m., she wakes up to what sounds like Kaylee playing with her dog in the room on the 3rd floor. She also reports hearing someone say, "There's someone here." 4:04 a.m., authorities say the white sedan is seen driving into the neighborhood a 4th time. 4:12 a.m., according to phone records obtained by police, Zana is awake and using TikTok. The affidavit states that the same surviving roommate says she hears what sounds like crying coming from Zana's room. She opens her door a second time and says she hears a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At 4:17 a.m., this security camera on a neighbor's home picks up distorted audio of what sounds like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times. This camera is less than 50 feet from Zana's bedroom. The affidavit states the surviving roommate then opens her door a 3rd time. She sees a masked man walking past her towards the sliding glass door in the kitchen. In frozen shock, she locks her door. 4:20 a.m., police say the white sedan is seen leaving the neighborhood at a high rate speed. 5:25 a.m., authorities say that same vehicle is seen on 5 cameras back in the Pullman area, near where the suspect lives. And then... Yeah,
Wait, you can't hear the video? You should be able to hear it.
9:12 and 9:21 a.m., police say data...
I just turned it up a little bit. Sorry, the video was kind of quiet. I'm playing the audio of the video, of course, now, because we have a little bit more
collected
info.
Shows the suspect's phone appearing near the scene of the murders. About 8 hours after the killings, a 911 call reports an unconscious person at the scene of the crime. Shortly after, Moscow police discover the bodies of 4 students.
So I went ahead and sped this up a little bit.
The facts of the case that we know right now.
November 16th, police reveal the 4 victims were stabbed to death.
The 4 were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Ads. Okay.
Are eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him.
This is Ethan's mom on November 30th at a vigil honoring her son and the 3 other victims.
That's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
When they get pulled over by a Hancock... Kohberger and his father are driving eastbound on I-70 when they get pulled over by a Hancock County Sheriff's deputy.
Hello? How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could.
So this is December 15th, by the way, the same day that the standoff back in Moscow was happening that the caller referenced earlier. They were all the way in Indiana when they were talking about it. I'm going to scrub forward because we know that it was December 30th when in Albrightsford, Pennsylvania, Bryan Christopher Kohberger was taken into custody for 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count felony burglary, I believe, or just burglary. And that is where we stand today. Obviously, he waived extradition. If you remember, if you're part of the crew that followed the 7-hour flight back to Moscow, Idaho, where he has been going through his initial hearings, his initial court appearances, and now we are months and months away from his preliminary hearing. I believe it's June 26th, 2023. Excuse me. I should have muted myself. Okay. If you're getting in late, I see some people hopping in late. David, what's going on? I jumped in too late. I have no idea what's going on. David, feel free to scrub back if you want to watch the stream. A bit of a recap. Obviously, the stream is titled Not a Coincidence. One of the things I talked about in this stream as a little bit of a recap is that I truly do not believe that it was a coincidence that Bryan Kohberger ended up at the Mad Greek restaurant several times ordering vegan pizza. I think that there is going to be a connection that put him there, that was him trying to interact or trying to stalk or whatever Maddie and Xana, who happened to work there. In the stream, I go through a pizza place that was less than 2 miles from his residence in Pullman that he could have easily gone for vegan pizza. Once again, not illegal or uncommon to go a town over for your favorite meal, especially since it's only a 10-minute drive. But I think that it's not a coincidence. There are also many other vegan options in the town of Pullman that he could have gone to. I think that it wasn't a coincidence. In addition to that, we went in and we tracked different cell phone tower data based on an app. And I think someone asked earlier, what is the app that I used to find this information? We went through, this app is called, no sponsor here, but it's called Find Tower. And the actual app looks like, well, you can't see it very well because of the brightness. But we were able to go through Pullman and actually find all of the AT&T towers, Verizon towers, Sprint towers, so on and so forth. It's blown out here, but these are all the towers. And then we went in and we looked at those towers in the actual city. We were able to find a few, one of which is right here on Paradise Creek Street. You can see at the top of this building some of the boosters, tower, or satellite antennas, whatever they're called. Those are clearly on this building. And yeah, we went through a couple of different locations and just found other potential cell towers. We went through the search warrant, the unsealed search warrant that investigators recovered. These are the items that they recovered from Bryan's apartment in Pullman. We just went through and talked about the different items. Did he buy a Dickies outfit, right? We have a Walmart receipt with a Dickies tag. Did he buy a Dickies mask? Was he seen wearing a Dickies style mask? Will they be able to see on that receipt that he bought a Dickies style face covering, fleece mask, or Dickies black pants? And that's kind of really it. We obviously had the phone calls, the call-ins, but it's been a good stream. It's been a good 2-hour stream, and I enjoyed having you all here. Thank you to the people that have stuck around. 450 of you have been so kind as to tap the like button. If you are not one of the 450 people that have hit the like button and you would like to contribute, it really helps promote the stream to future viewers. If you like the stream, please hit the like button. If you haven't already and you would like to subscribe to the channel, we would love to have you. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you are notified when we go live on future live streams and videos. Let me read a couple of your guys' comments because I haven't taken a second to read some of your comments. Angela says, I deliver alcohol through DoorDash. Interesting. Teresa, thank you. Thank you. Beast Master says, I think he might be found innocent. I don't know, Beast Master. I think there's going to be a lot of potential evidence that they're going to have to go through to rule him out. I think his defense is going to have a difficult time. Junebug, any future live streams for Summer Wells? Actually, I do plan on doing some Summer Wells, a revisit of the Summer Wells case. So that might take a little bit of time, but definitely I will be revisiting that story. Crime Circus speculated that Bryan was the one who made the DoorDash order. Thoughts on that theory? I will say there is the photo from inside the house. DoorDash, Xana. There is this. Let me find it right here. There is this photo. I don't know if you remember seeing this, but on this New York Post article, they show the photo through the window of the crime scene, and you can see this Jack in the Box bag with Xana's name on it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's from the exact DoorDash. And I guess you could still order, like, for example, someone, if they wanted to, like if I wanted to order a DoorDash to some house down the street from where I'm at, I could essentially put their name on it and it could still show up and they could be like, hey, DoorDash for Xana. But, that's one thing that they're going to easily be able to go into Xana's DoorDash account and see, is she the one who made that purchase, right? It would look really bad if they were able to obtain an account registered to Bryan Kohberger and see that he made the order for Xana, because that would once again really not look good, because it would be very hard to explain away why you're ordering food for somebody else. But yeah, I mean, that certainly could be the case. Who knows? So yeah, we'll see. And watching our lightweight Aaron doing a shot. JK, wait, what? Do a shot? Are you talking about? Hey, I got some. Oh, why is it still saying subscribe, guys? Whoops. David, thank you for that. If you guys were around for the 7-hour live stream, I did take a few shots of Redbreast when Bryan landed. I still have it sitting here, but we're not gonna. It's 4:30 on a Friday night or Friday afternoon. We're not gonna go there right now. But thank you, David. That's a very kind comment, my friend. Hungry Helmet with the crying, laughing emojis. Cheryl, autopsy will show if she had Jack in the Box in her system. Exactly. Too much circumstantial evidence for him to be not guilty, but that's only what we know. They have way more. Yeah, I think obviously you look at this, and a lot of people have speculated and said, this initial list of things that they took from his house doesn't on the surface look incredibly damning, but there's going to be a lot that they pull from that computer. There's going to be a lot that these receipts tell. I mean, there's got to be some significance with these receipts. Potentially, some real evidence of his wardrobe that he was in, possibly that kind of thing. Once again, it's not illegal to own a full black outfit, right? I'm wearing all black right now, but I didn't buy these within the last couple days. It would be different if I bought a black ski mask and then was a suspect for a crime. Let's see. Frank, Red Beast is amazing. Or Redbreast is amazing. Yeah, Redbreast is great. I actually brought this one back from Canada. My father-in-law gave this to me over Christmas, or over the last time I was there in October, and I brought this back in my bag along with some wine. I love a good Redbreast. Thank you for the 2, Frank. Mike Smith with the 20. Thank you, Mike Smith. Is there a comment added to this? Just a $20 super sticker. Mike Smith, very kind of you, my friend. Thank you so much. I have enjoyed seeing your comments throughout the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Also, did I see something about throat cancer earlier? Mike, if that's you, if you are dealing with that, my thoughts are with you, my friend. Hopefully you have some support in that, and be sending some good thoughts your way, my friend. Thank you for the 20, Mike. Then past the other roommate, not knowing. You know what would be interesting? As I'm chatting it up with you guys, I could pull up the 3D as we're winding down. The 3D view is very interesting. of the house if we have it.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley
Hi.
from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but it's important.
Don't know why it wouldn't let me mute that. It won't let me like exit out of all of these things. There we go. All right, I'm going to try to find the 3D view. Just jumped on because we're driving up to Houston Valley in New York. I'll need to catch up when we make it to the cabin. Hungry Helmet, thank you. Well, thank you for being here. And definitely, if you're at this point in the replay, there's probably not a lot we're going to get into. I'm just kind of reading some chats. But thank you, Hungry Helmet, and safe travels. Oh, it has come and gone. That's good to hear, Mike. Hopefully that is how it stays. And you stay well, my friend. Okay, come on. Where's the, I'm looking for this 3D. I had it earlier, but I can't find it. Oh, well. Things I've cleaned. Okay. David, okay, so Dickie's receipt was for a jumpsuit. BK dressed as Michael Myers and went to King Road Halloween party. Yeah, imagine if they try to like explain away like a full black jumpsuit purchase. There'd be nothing. Oh wait, I have no idea if even that's wooded. Good cabin equates Bigfoot to me apparently. Hungry Helmet, I'm jelly. A weekend away at a cabin. Oh yeah, you're assuming it's wooded. I mean, potentially. Man, I really want to find this link. Why can't I find my old, one of my old streams? I keep all of the links. Open all of these. I gotta find this 3D view that I had earlier. Maybe it's not posted anymore. Yeah, here it is. The 3D view is so interesting to me. This is obviously this is the Good Vibes neon style sign that they had. This would be the second floor or the middle floor. That'd be the front door. I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but they've updated it. There'd be Ethan and Xana's room right here. Xana was apparently found on the floor in this room. The latent footprint leading out the kitchen was right here. DM, one of the surviving roommates, would have been in the doorway here. A supplementary view of what DM would have seen would have looked something like this. This is very interesting. It's very dark, obviously, but DM would have seen him walking from this area towards her and then would have stepped right there. The latent shoe print of the Vans style shoe would have exited in the kitchen out that way. This is the room all dark. The house all dark. And then of course we could go upstairs and see where Kaylee and Maddie would have been. So very interesting stuff. Okay. David says when he got stopped by the cop and his face looked white as a ghost. Yeah, he really did. You're not wrong there. It says YouTube's not receiving enough information to maintain a smooth streaming. Hopefully it's smooth for you guys. How does someone make a 3D image of a house? In this case, I mean, you can use, there's so many pieces of tech to be able to build this out, and there's accurate photos on like Zillow pages and stuff to get a good idea of the layout. So you can do quite a bit. Saleo, gonna go to bed. Take care, everyone. Saleo, thanks for being here. I thought he might have got in the house and hid while someone took the dog out. I mean, who knows? But it sounds like with the information about him pacing around the house with the car, I think it kind of rules out him hiding in the house for a substantial amount of time prior. But that's just my opinion. Lene, someone's talking about Lene. Thank you also for your previous comment. So many people searching on Google related to Mad Greek. Have a good evening, Teresa. Yeah, hey guys, I think I am also going to sign off. It can be easy for me just to keep rambling on and chatting with you guys and continuing the conversation. But I realized we hit 2 hours. It's Friday. A bit of a recap. I know we talked about some things that have been talked about over the last several days, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, I haven't live streamed on the Idaho case in a few days, and obviously there's some more info coming out around Bryan and the sealing or the unsealing of evidence, as well as the gag order that has now been extended to immediate the attorneys obviously connected and then immediate people connected to them. Does that mean that there's still not going to be people that come out and give potential statements about the case? No, I think there's still going to be people that come forward and talk about Bryan, his past, and anything connected to this. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Maybe we'll stream again about this case next week. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. And once again, as we leave, thank you again to the sponsor of today's video, DataSeal. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for everyone for being here. Thank you to the new members. Thank you to you guys who have been so kind as to donate. Thanks again to the mods, Joyce, Alex, TD, Alexa, Angela, anyone, TD. I think TD's in here. Yeah, TD. Any of the mods that joined, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Thanks again to our partner, DataSeal. If you guys have concerns about your home address or other personal information being exposed online, use the link below and promo code 5OFFALL to get 5% off.